It is a great pleasure to be here today. One of the things that I find encouraging is that HART provides a specific service. And that specific service is, as to quote one of my board members, is freedom. And what I mean by that is, and it was addressed just a second ago about independence, but public transit provides freedom for those who need the transportation. And that's what we're here for. That's what we've been doing for a long time in HART. At the same time, you notice I have a very gray beard here today. It's because I've been in public transit for in about 3 weeks. I start my 41st year. So I figure about maybe another year and a half I'll be joining you guys here. I don't know. We'll see. But from my wife's perspective, I think she's already decided that that's what I need to do. But on a serious note, the bottom line is that HART's here for you. We're doing our best to provide the service, the best possible service that we can to meet your needs. And doing the dump the pump is a national approach to trying to get the message out that public transit is here and it will continue to be here, and not just for the next few years, but for a long time. And the reason it is because of people like you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Again, my name is Lisa. I live in Tallahassee, and thank you so much for allowing us to be here today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about public transit, not only here in Florida, but also nationally. A few of the benefits of using public transit I think might surprise you. First of all, it is Dump the Pump Day. This is the 8th annual National Dump the Pump Day, and it's a day where transit systems all over the country try to get people to get out of their car and try transit. So that's why we're here today. And actually our purpose here is twofold, because it's not only to get you use transit, but also to show you that as you age, a lot of folks plan for retirement from work, but they don't plan for retirement from transportation. And studies show that we will outlive our ability to drive by 7 to 10 years. So you need to know what options are out there when that time comes. We all need to know. So I work with over 30 different transit systems here in Florida. We are a large state. We have a lot of urbanized areas. So there's a lot of transit out there. And our ridership, can anyone take a guess how many people take trips? How many trips are our transit systems here in Florida? Anyone? It's a lot. Millions. It's 260 million around the state of Florida. And what that means is that those people are not on the roads. They're not congesting the roads. It's less traffic. It's less emissions into the environment. And we all love our quality of life here in Florida and the air that we breathe. So transit is extremely important to making sure that Florida remains the beautiful state that we live in. I do have a map here of all of our different transit systems. So if you are traveling to any other areas and want any information, I can definitely tell you where to go. Some benefits of public transit, I've already mentioned a few. Of course, it reduces our dependence on foreign oil. And by using transit, you're not purchasing fuel. And that's a great way to keep you to save money and save the environment both at the same time. I mentioned that it relieves traffic congestion. And one thing, too, that some people don't realize is that it's extremely important in emergency situations. And, of course, Florida, we deal with hurricanes, we deal with fires, we deal with floods, we deal with all of these things here in Florida. And there has to be a way to get folks out very quickly and safely. So our transit systems are the folks who go into communities and make sure people have actually evacuated out of those areas. Extremely important. It also provides mobility in both urban and rural areas. We do have transportation in every single county in Florida. We're very lucky. I travel all over the nation, and there are many areas where there are places where there is just absolutely no transportation. So we're very lucky here in Florida that we have what we have. Some recent research about transit, which I thought was kind of interesting. Public transit users are healthier and live longer than those who don't use transit. And one of the main reasons is North Americans who use transit walk 3 times as much as those who just drive their car. So just by taking our trip right up the road here, you're doing a good thing for your body and for yourself and helping you to live longer. Also, there's kind of a new trend that we're seeing, the younger generation. They actually are not wanting to drive their cars. They want to live in communities that are pedestrian-friendly, transit-friendly, bicycle-friendly, and they really just don't want to own a car. because I don't know if you realize, but the average cost for an American to own a car is $9,000 a year. $9,000 a year. The bus pass here for a senior discount, $30 a month, something like that. $30 a month. So it's really a great way to save your pocketbook too. I mentioned traffic congestion. I know we don't have much time, so I'm trying to go quickly here. One thing with the fuel prices fluctuating as they are, it seems to be that around $4 a gallon is where people really start to assess, what am I doing? $4 a gallon. So that definitely seems to be the tipping point. And we do seem to kind of go up, then they kind of go down, and the summertime hits, and it goes back up again. So we just want to make sure you guys do realize that that option is here for you, again, to help you save money and move you through your community safer. So I get the pleasure now to introduce Gail. Is that Gail's next? Yes, Gail Molly. She's with the State Police Manager. She works at the Florida Department of Transportation, and Gail and I served on lots of committees together, and she's a wonderful person and a very hard worker. And I want to thank her for helping me plan this today. I appreciate it.
So excited to see you all here. Very excited that we're going to be doing this. This is actually our first time that we're ever doing any kind of outreach event. So, as Lisa said, I'm with the Florida Department of Transportation up in Tallahassee, and I actually manage our older driver program called Safe Mobility for Life. And if you originally, DOT's been working on the issue for since the early 90s. And there's probably things out on the roadway right now that you didn't even know came about because of research that we did for older drivers, for older adults, to make sure that we change the roadway environment to compensate for the natural changes of aging. Not age-related, but just these natural changes. So a lot of times, and your area down here does a fantastic job of these advanced treatment signs. You know the sign you see with the street name on it, it says next signal? Yeah. They came out of Florida DOT's older driver program based on national research. Also, the pavement markings that you see, they used to be 4 inches wide, but now they are 6 inches wide all around the state on both state and local roads, all from research and how we wanted to increase because, naturally our eyes are changing as we age. So, so this compensates for the visibility issues that can occur. But about 7 years ago in our office, the head of our office realized that we were not doing enough to be prepared for Florida as a state for our aging population. Right now, I think recent census stuff came out that we're 18%. Individuals over the age of 65. But in 2030, Florida is going to be 27% of our state is going to be over the age of 65. So what we needed to do was continue to help prepare. Because we realized that we didn't want to only focus on the roadway. We needed to change the way we were thinking and working together. So we actually formed a statewide coalition. We reached out to FSU has a Pepper Institute on Aging and Public Policy. And then we reached out to about 26 other member organizations. And you can probably recognize a lot of the logos right there. And one of them is also Lisa's organization. So what we're doing now is we've all pulled together and we have a whole statewide strategic plan. But the thing is that we're trying to do is balance both the safety and the mobility. Because we want to have people, drive as long as safely possible, but then also think about transitioning. Because we're all not going to be able to drive any longer, but we want to make sure that we can continue to get around, stay active in our communities, and have quality of life. So what we're doing is doing things to not only address drivers and improve drivers, but also for non-drivers as well. So that's why it's important for us. Our goal is to reduce crashes for aging road users, but we want to do that by balancing the mobility. We want to improve the system. We want to improve the safety, access, and mobility. That's why we're doing this today, so we can actually learn how to safely walk, to make sure that we can walk to the bus stop and do that safely. And I should say what we define an aging road user to be, it is anyone over the age of 50 that is a driver, a passenger, a transit rider, pedestrian, bicyclist, and even motorcyclist, and then even golf cart riders. I mean, we're all trying to work to help improve the safety and mobility. So I'm really excited you're here, and this is going to be a great event. And now I'm going to introduce, before I introduce Julie, I want to just take a moment. You know, you're going to learn a lot about what we're doing, and the issue's really big, but we have resources up on the web. We have our website is safeandmobileseniors.org. So it's the one-stop shop. Anything you learn today or want to learn later on, that's the place to go. We've also created print materials because not everyone uses the internet, and we're aware of that. So we're actually trying to do things on the web and have them available to you in print version as well. So you'll continue to see a lot of that information out there. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Julie Bond, who's with Walkwise in Tampa Bay, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about safe walking. Like I said, it's not just about getting on the bus and getting around, but it's also learning more about how to walk safely. So, that is Julie.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here at your beautiful center this morning. We've got a very nice resource. It's nice to see all of you here. We're going to have some fun. Are you ready to have some fun? Sure. Yes. They are going to be handing out an audience response system. And so we're going to have a little bit of fun, ask you some questions, see what you know about pedestrian safety, and at the end of the session, then we'll just have to collect those. Again, I'm Julie Bond, and I'm actually with the Center for Urban Transportation Research, a long name, but it's at the University of South Florida. And I manage the Walkwise Tampa Bay campaign. And we have provided over 1,300 presentations to groups just like yours over the last 2 years. And so today I'm going to give you a very quick version of what we do, and we can come back out to your center and give you the complete presentation. How many of you got the green Walkwise bags? When we come back out and give presentations, we bring those. Everyone gets a Walkwise bag. We have some other items, reflective vests, and different things that we'll give to you. So we would love to come back and give you a full presentation. Let's see. I'm going to put this down. That's not going to work. I'll wait till they get back, so I was just going to click through to the next slide. So what you have in your hand is an audience response system. And so in a minute, we'll have some questions come up, and then just click on the button. You can see 1, 2, 3, and that's ABC. So you can just click the answer that you think is correct, was on the slide. And as we get those all handed out, how many of you walk during the nighttime? Do a lot of you go out and walk during the nighttime? For some reason, even though I'm in Florida, I tend to wear a lot of black clothing. And so it's important just to know, those of you who did get the reflective vest, it makes a big difference if you wear something like this at nighttime. You can see how these have retroreflective stripes, and it makes a big difference. I'll put it on. You can see I have black clothing on. Can someone come and put the computer forward? Thank you so much. You see a difference? I mean, these are retroreflective stripes. If I'm wearing this at night instead of just black, people are going to see me. And you know, sometimes you see just the runner, you see those reflective shoes coming. This is really great. If a car light hits you, you're going to be very reflective, so the lights are shining on you. Where do you get these vests? I had a few to hand out. So, you know, you can get them at, I think, various, you can purchase them at stores, or if I come and give a presentation, I can bring some. And then some of the other agencies, I believe, have reflective vests that they hand out. So if you need one, you can see me afterwards, and I'll get one for you. Okay, so you have an audience response system in your hand. So basically, you can just click the corresponding number, and then we're going to see what everybody thinks for these answers. Okay, here's our first one. I'll read it because I know it's hard to see this. So you all have seen those countdown signals, right, or the flashing hands when you go to cross a street. So when you're approaching a crosswalk with a flashing red hand, so the red hand's flashing, you're approaching a crosswalk, what would you do? Are you one, push one if you think this is the answer, enter the crosswalk and walk quickly. Do you think it's 2, not enter the crosswalk, or 3, enter the crosswalk if others are still crossing? So you have 3 decisions there to make. And just click on your button, and we'll see as they come in, you can see the numbers. So don't yell out your number. Don't tell people. It's a secret until, you know, just put what you think is, or what would you do? What would you do? Again, 1, enter the crosswalk and walk quickly. Again, it's a flashing red hand, just like the one you see there. Not enter the crosswalk, or enter the crosswalk, others are still coming. So just take your best guess. Did you have a question?
Number 2.
Okay, well let's go. We'll click through and we can see. Oh, you gotta go back one. It's a little bit touchy. Okay, so you can see your answers right there. So 9% of you said enter the crosswalk and walk quickly. 83% said do not enter the crosswalk, and 9% said enter the crosswalk if others are still crossing. Does anyone want to comment on who said number 2? Do you want to comment on your answer? Why did you? Oh, you don't. Okay.